All right, I wanted to make this video because I know that a lot of you guys make or want to learn how to make mockups. And mockups are a very important thing to include in your portfolio. Now, I took this photo. I'm creating a mockup for a landscape app that we've designed. And it's really nice when you're making mockups to create some context around your mockups. And so, for example, I took this photo just in front of my yard. Um, we actually just had a landscaper come, and I'm designing a landscaping app, so that's kind of fun. But taking this photo will give the mockup some context, and so I know what kind of device that I'm going to be working with. I now have the background image, but I can make this mockup myself rather than using these like fake AI generating platforms, or even if it's like still a mockup, but like the phone is floating in outer space and like these weird gradient backgrounds and things like that. It doesn't create a very contextual feel for the product, whereas something like this is immediately going to feel a lot more real. So what I typically start with is I'll go in and I'll make a couple of just spot adjustments. I'm using the spot healing tool to do this. And I've already done it, but essentially what I do is I just create a new layer and then make sure that your tool, your spot healing tool, which is J on the keyboard, is set to content aware is helpful. And then you also want to sample all layers because you're working on a new layer. That way it's non-destructive. And you want to be able to sample from the layer below. So that's what sample all layers does. It'll also sample from above, but you get the idea. And then I'll literally just go in and touch up some of these little spots on here, just like that. I'm literally just clicking. It's not a whole lot special to do here. You do have to be careful though, because if you get like too close to the edge, sometimes it will make a little dent like that, and maybe not what you want. So just come in, get rid of those. You want to do a really good job here because this is kind of the underlying element that will make the rest look good. And you might be wondering, well, I'm going to put an image over top of this, so why would any of that matter? I'm actually going to use blend if, which is a feature within Photoshop to help bring back some of the reflections like you see here, um, little things like that. So it's worth just taking the time to come in and make sure it's all cleaned up. Even these smudges here, I can use the stamp tool, which is S on the keyboard, and go and find an area of the screen that might look a little bit better. And all I'm trying to do is just get rid of some of that. You might have to do multiple samplings in order to get there. I might come back to your spot healing tool and just kind of brush some of that back in. We don't want to add texture. We're just kind of healing it up a little bit. That looks pretty good. Take a moment to look around elsewhere. If there's a little spot here that I want to get rid of, take your time with this. Make it perfect. A little spot there. Great. Okay, that feels pretty good. I'll actually get rid of that because I just did it from the bottom. All right, so now I'm going to hit P on my keyboard to get my pen tool. What I'll do is I want to be on the inside of this Bezier here. And hopefully, if you've had me in 540 or maybe some other classes, I've taught you how to use the pen tool. You just want to treat it like a football. If this is where I'm standing and I need to throw the football to my friend that's on the other side of this hill here, then I need to have enough trajectory in order to get it over to the other side. And so once I get it here, We'll draw another one so that we can kind of match that curve there. You can always come back and refine that a little bit later on. Down a little. Maybe push this out. Now, once you get down here, things get a little bit more challenging. So I'm actually going to come to the inside of my thumb just a little bit here. And the reason that I'm doing that is because when you do create your mask, if you're too far outside, you'll have this like black line, and we're going to feather it too. That way it kind of softens the edge a little bit. There we go. Come to the bottom here. Again, treat it like a football. There we go. Same thing here. Come to the inside just a hair. Hold Option to break the anchor. This one's got a strange little divot in it. There we go. I need to bring that up just a bit. There we go. Draw that in and connect it back at the top. Oops. Like that. Okay. So now if you go to the path, you have your phone path, right? Or actually here, let's name it screen. There we go. So now we've got that path. I'll come back to my layers, and what I want to do is I want to create a rectangle, which is U on the keyboard. And I want to make it a very specific size. That way it will accommodate my device. And that size that I can make it would be over here in Figma, or at least the aspect ratio that I want to make it should be over here in Figma. And so here, my size is 393 by 1401. And because the resolution of my camera is a lot higher than the resolution of output from Figma, or of the native screen size within Figma, I'm actually going to double that. So I'll click on my screen here to create a rectangle, and I'll make my width 393 by 2 and 1401 by 2. There we go. We don't have to worry about rounding the corners at all. Make sure that your stroke is off, but that your fill is on. Oh, something went wrong. Let's see. I can adjust that here. 1401 by 2, 2802, and then 393 times 2. All right, what's going on here? Oh, I see. All right, hang on. I did that wrong. Let's go to this one. There we go. So 850 something's wrong. Brain. What was my width? 393.39. We'll go to 393 by 852. That's what I meant. All right. So 393 by 2, and then 850. Keep forgetting. 852. 852 by 2. There we go. All right, that's the correct size. Now what I can do here is notice that we're underneath all those spot healings that I've done. We'll want to move that up. We'll want to right click on this and change it to convert to smart object. We'll get to that in a minute, but if you don't do that at this point, it will mess up what you do later. And now we've got these little anchor points. What we can do is we can drag those down. I'm holding Command on my keyboard. And we just want to sort of approximate it where we put our path. sort of where the edges of the path would be. It's okay if it goes a little bit over. That's actually somewhat preferable. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. Hit enter so that it applies. We'll come back to this path, hold option. I'm sorry, hold control and then click our screen. I'll come up here to filter. No, I'm sorry, select, modify, and feather. I'm going to feather it by 3 pixels. And then notice that we're really far outside on this one and not too far outside on this one. So actually, before I apply that, I'm going to adjust this. I'll come back and hit Command T to transform. Well, Command D to deselect and then Command T to transform. And then I'm just going to nudge these in a little bit so that we're a little bit closer to where the path would be. There we go. Better to spend some time to get it right now than to be worried about it later. All right, let's apply that. Come back to our pass, hold Command. There we go. Select, modify, feather, and then you'll get this little selection box. I'm actually going to do it by 2 pixels. There we go. And then we'll come back to the layer and we'll make a layer mask, just like that. So now that screen is being contained by the path that we created. Now what I can do is I can come in here, I can export my screen from Figma, say I want this guy, come down here, I'll make it by 2, change this. Hello, what's going on? Why are you acting funny? There we go. Change that to JPEG, export, and we'll put it in, I'm just going to put it on my desktop as default. Everything's a little messy right now. But now, if I come to my desktop and I drag that default in here, hit enter, and then save it, you'll come back over here, and it's already inside the device. And that's because we made this into a smart object. So double clicking into here takes you into that smart object the way that it was before you transformed it. And so that's kind of the benefit of making it that way. Once you have that, you can double click on the smart object there. And we want to try to get some of these shadows and reflections off the screen. And so what I might do is I don't want to pull that off because obviously that's kind of giving us not what we want. Although I might want a little bit of it. And so we'll come back to that in a minute. I want to pull in the highlights here. And what I'm doing there is I'm holding Option and sliding back until I kind of start to see that hand come through a little bit. And even pull back a little bit more, whatever I want to do until it looks about right. You kind of have to learn to eyeball this pretty well because you can very easily overdo it. And I would just say, fiddle with it until you get it about right. Might even, nah, that's too much. That's too much too. All right, so we'll split it off there. We'll put a little bit of that shadow back in. All right, so now we've got a bit of a reflection coming off of the device, and we're able to swap this out for whatever we want. So let's say that I wanted to even, let's go for something a little bit more complex here. Let's go for this guy. We'll go 2x, export, clients. Now I can drop this in. I can scale it up, drag it down. Perfect. And then even if I wanted to, because obviously right now, we're not getting the notch in there. So what I could do is I could come back to this, go to the Figma community and look for we'll go for iOS 17. That's a little bit older, but this hasn't changed much. What I can look for is, no, it's not giving me what I want. Hang on. Come back to the community. Looking for their UI kit. We'll go with 18. Actually, let's go with 26. There we go. Make a copy of this file. This will make sense in a minute. Product bezels. Now I can come in here, double click a couple of times. Oh, is it? They have the island. Well, normally within here, I have one that I've already made. So let me go just pull that one. That way you can see. But there are files out there that you can pull this from. File, new, open recent. I just know I have this because I already made it. I can pull this little dynamic island and I can paste that right at the top there. Hit save again. Now that island, it's kind of showing up a little bit funky. Maybe I got to pull it down just a hair. Maybe I should resize it a little. There we go. Save. Now it's looking a little bit better. Part of that was because I had it bigger on another device because I was working with a different device size. I could even go a little bit smaller. There we go. Save. Cool. Now we're working. So that is how you make your own custom mockup. You could do this with anything. I've done it with desktop devices in workspaces. Like there's all kinds of ways that you could do this. So really like think about the context when you're making your mockups, because if you're able to do this, you can put your design in anything before it's even been built, and people are going to have so much more of a connection to it. Hope that helps.